I need a big round of applause for what's about to take place. Heather B, we had a lot of special moments on this show over the years. It's been how many years now?
11.
We've had some great people on this show in that 11 years, including President Obama, including Spike Lee. Heather, I'm losing how many great people we've had on the show, but they've been on the show.
They've been here.
6 years ago, we were graced with the presence of this queen that's sitting with us right now. And she came to talk about an incredible, epic movie that you and I had a chance to see this past Friday when I took you out on date night.
Oh, please. With my husband? That doesn't count.
Well, the date was me and him, not you.
I got a husband and a boyfriend now.
You were the fifth wheel. But we sat and watched this movie that was directed by the great Gina Prince Bythewood, who's here with us today.
Wow.
And her Love and Basketball movie just really showed and changed culture in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
And showed us black love through basketball and culture in a way that was just really empowering. And so this movie, The Woman King, is as epic as any movie you ever seen. But the story that's being told is a story that's never been told properly, in my opinion, Heather B. We studied this growing up in Oakland, California. We studied Agojie, if I'm saying it correctly. We studied who this military regiment was that had to come to the defense of the Dahomey tribes empire back in the 1600s, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken. And when you see that kind of representation in our history that's not taught in our school curriculums, public school, otherwise, it makes you wonder, well, is this a diabolical scheme or plan to let us not, or for us to not know who we are, what our true history is?
Yes.
So I want to say thank you to Gina for putting this movie together and directing it the way you did.
Come on.
Thank you. This is going to be powerful. I can't wait to take my daughter to see this one. My daughter needs to see this. You know, she's in her early 20s. She's looking for this type of empowerment from our history. She doesn't get a chance to see this often. With us, we got Sheila. A team is with us. Give her a big round of applause.
Sheila!
She has an angelic voice.
Yes.
Maybe if we're lucky. We got the amazing Lashonna Lynch is with the citizens.
Beautiful.
Wow, look at her.
With the shoulder
Yo,
work.
she got the shoulder work. She ready to battle you, Sway. I'm saying dance off.
Lashonna, you don't want it, stick to acting. You do that great. I did see some dancing at the end of the movie, though, I will say. I won't go into that. We got from South Africa, right? Man, this is my sister right here. I went to South Africa, and they embraced me so well. They thought I was from South Africa, Heather, because of all the MTV footage that they used to run on MTV Basic. People in South Johannesburg thought I was from Johannesburg. One of the greatest moments in vacations I ever took. Tuso Mbedu is here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Wow, beautiful. Beautiful. Welcome.
Heather, I wanted to see if I'm going to call her audible. Last time I got a chance to introduce her, but since you guys came in here like twins, I thought maybe you wanted to say some words about our final guest here today.
Wow. What can I say besides thank you for being the example that you are? We were blessed to watch this film, and literally we stood up, we clapped, we cried because you are the example. Every opportunity we get to watch you, whether it's through an interview, whether it's through a performance, we strive for the type of greatness that you have shown. We are proud to be one of you, and we are proud that you are one of us. Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Sway in the Morning, welcome the Queen, Viola Davis!
Hey!
Oh, yes.
Or the Woman King, how, you know.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, the Queen Woman King.
I like that scene when John Boyega made that announcement. I don't want to give up too much. Did I do it already, Gina? I gave it up? A little bit? My bad. I'm just proud of the movie.
Yes.
This is the Woman King, so I definitely want to let Heather, and I just want to stick the theme right now and get out of the way, Heather and Tracy, for some of their questions. But I wanted to start, I was thinking about this, Gina, and I read a quote regarding what you discovered while researching this film. And you said the biggest eye-opener was how much misinformation there is about these women and this culture, given that so much of their history was written from the colonizer's point of view. So it was really about separating those texts from that point of view, which were so disparaging and disrespectful from the truth. When you did this study for this film, what are some of those untruths that you discovered, and what are some of those truths that you wanted to bring to light?
Yeah, it was a shocking thing. I think the biggest thing is the understanding that, who was writing your history and what is their intent. And for so many of those things that were written, the intent was to dehumanize us as a people, make us look like savages. And so, there are things written about that they would dig swimming pool-sized ditches and fill them with blood, things like that. They would describe these women as mannish and ugly, and that's just not who they were. And the things that we ultimately used, we found these journals written by some missionaries that made a journey, and the difference in the way that it was described. They talked about the beauty and humanity and the goodness and the morality of Dahomey as opposed to Ouida, which is depicted in the film of where the slave trade took place. And to see people who were honoring the beauty of these women, honoring the beauty of the place, honoring the beauty of Africa, as opposed to disparaging it, was really a game changer for us, and ultimately the biggest part of research that we use for this.
Wow, you proud of your work?
Yes, I do.
This one, no doubt.
You proud of this one? Yo, we got to celebrate this stuff, Gina. Think about who you were 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Look where you are now. This is amazing. I'm curious to the reception that you got from the movie studios when this first came across the table, The Woman King, and the idea of seeing these beautiful dark-skinned women grace the screen in that way. What kind of resistance did you, I'll direct this to you, Viola. What kind of resistance did you guys, you don't want the question?
No, I'll take it.
Okay. Because if you don't, let me know. You're the Woman King. What kind of resistance was there? Did you guys meet at first? And then how did you navigate through that?
Well, the resistance we got is exactly the resistance you would imagine.
Yes.
It is a predominantly black female and dark-skinned black female driven narrative. It just is. And we know traditionally Hollywood has not had that. They do not believe that we can lead a global box office without a white male savior or even a white female savior, which is nowhere in the film. So everything became a fight. The hair became a fight.
The hair?
What we look like became a fight. Everything was a fight. But you know what? Sometimes you find your voice. It's like the Toni Morrison quote that when you free yourself, then your job is to go out and free others. Is that you fight, because what I realize, once again, I'm going to use another quote, sorry, because when they, the famous quote of, if you want to know me, don't ask me how I do my hair or where I live. Ask me what I live for. Or better yet, ask me what's getting in the way of what I live for. And I have, to some extent, if I were to be brutally honest, always felt invisible. As a woman, as a dark-skinned black woman, the labels, what you have to fight. I remember hearing a man years ago, he was a white man, who said, I don't think any black women are attractive except for Diana Ross and Donna Summer. And he felt very comfortable saying that. And I've always felt like I'm waiting to be introduced to the world as Viola. I want people to see my beauty. I want people to see my mess. I want people to see my humanity. And so that was the fight with this film. Yeah. Because black women in this film are seen in all of their glory. But you know what? This is one time it was worth the fight.
Yeah. Was it a deal breaker for you?
Yeah. Absolutely, it was a deal breaker. I mean, at some point, you have to understand that, listen, I think that I have achieved great success in my career. And I have to be honest, I thought it would feel different. I thought I would be absolutely fulfilled. Instead, I felt exhausted, You know, you're still fighting for, you know, I'm good, but you're still fighting for pay. You're still fighting for those scripts that really are going to show your talent. You're still fighting, and you're still sort of feeling like disillusioned with everything until you realize success is not the cap. It's significance. That's the last cap. You got to live a life bigger than yourself. At some point, you got to be brave enough to sort of switch the narrative. And this film, you got to be brave, because the script itself is brave. That you've got to meet the film where it's at, and so you got to risk discomfort, and that's what I risk for the Sheilas, the Lashonnas, the Tusos, the Sias, the Shiomas, the Jamies, the Adrians, all of the black women who are featured in this film. I have to fight for them, you know.
The Woman King. Round of applause. HB.
Yeah, in the theme of celebrating the ladies today, Sheila, LaShawn, Tuso, I'm curious to know, what did you do when you found out you got the role? Normally I celebrate by jumping on my bed with champagne. It's childish, but it makes me happy when I get good news. What did you ladies do when you found out I've been cast in The Woman King? I'll start with you, Tuso.
I messaged Lashonna because I knew that she was in it.
Oh, wow.
But she didn't know that I was auditioning for it. She told me she was doing this job, and she hadn't given the title. But from the description of it, I was like, I think it's... So we just had this conversation, and I was just like, for the whole conversation. But I didn't know if I definitely got the job. So when I got it, she was the first person I messaged.
Oh my gosh, beautiful.
And I was like, we're going to do it together.
I didn't know that, by the way. I didn't know that. Because you messaged me and then I called and was like, no, wait. Well, I had a whole conversation with you.
Yeah, because she was in a fitting. She was like, I'm just putting my clothes back a second.
Whoa, that's amazing. This script came to me in one of the most unique ways and amazing ways that I've had in my career so far, in having a director see me and think of me before me even reading the script. Never ever happens. And then reading a script knowing it's incredible and that you're just happy that it's being made and that it's going to be in the world at a time when you as an adult get to enjoy it was incredible. So speaking to Gina over Zoom and having her say, yeah, there's this part and read it, see what you think. And I was like, you're Gina Bruins. Yeah, cool, I'll read it, sure, I'll find a moment. And it was like, a meeting of two amazing wants in my career, working with a woman, a black woman, a woman that I've admired since Love and Basketball onwards, and then getting to represent my ancestors in a script that I felt really connected to.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, really special.
And what about
Tuso?
Oh, it was exciting, but I'm the type of person who has delayed excitement. Relatable. Where your team calls you and they're so excited and you go, yeah, sure, thank you, because you try to be professional. Also, it's like you can't. I can't let myself get pre-excited until we've signed and everything, it makes sense. Flights are booked. I've arrived in South Africa type situation. I can't, but I know I messaged my sister. My sister always does our grandmother is gone, so I'll be her. And she starts crying type situation. And then I have a guy friend of mine who I've been friends with for years. I remember texting him and saying, listen, the next project I'm dedicating to you, because I've had so many people tell me that I could never do action. And he was always the one that when we would go watch an action movie, he'd be like, I can't wait for you to be in something like this.
Wow.
So
wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you all. Thank you for sharing that, ladies.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful to be in the presence of the five of y'all. Sincerely. I saw the film last night with one of my dear girlfriends, Kiara, and the spectrum of emotions that we felt was just wild, and it really led to deep, beautiful conversation. And we were going over a lot of themes like bold sisterhood, not just sisterhood that's like, hey, let's look cute next to each other, but let's cover each other. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Deep ancestral reverence, how self-care pours into community care. And then we went into a conversation about soft life. And for y'all who are on, I would say, all of social media, this conversation, Soft Life, that I feel like has been kicked off by Black women who are very tired, you know, from all of the roles that we carry in our back, all of the expectations, like being on this proverbial, what feels like a never-ending hamster wheel, and not feeling like the presence of ease is accepted by us or by others. And Woman King is anything but soft life, right? And discernment becomes really important with knowing when is there a time for effort and when is there a time for ease. And so I'm curious, when it comes to you guys' lives, and anyone can take this, or maybe all of you, but how do you find that discernment? Like, how do you know this is the time where I need to lean in a bit more and when I need to fall back and rest?
You want to?
I think I'm still finding it.
Yeah.
It feels like a kind of lifelong journey, maybe generations long journey, because you're also, you know, dealing with the stuff that gets passed down to you from the generations above. And then, you know, the people alongside you, your peers, there's a quite a community aspect to that I think it can be very hard to do on your own. You need to be encouraged by those around you to understand your own boundaries and your own limits. We need to illuminate that to each other.
Yeah.
That's why community is so important, because it is really difficult to be, you know, completely discerning at every given time on your own. It's just not, it's, you know, we're human beings, we're social creatures. We require that interaction from each other. I think that's what's so powerful in the film as well. Like, you don't just see the moments of care, you also see the moments where we challenge each other out of care, you know. But that's just as important as also affirming each other and raising each other up. So yeah, you know, flagging to each other when might be a time to stop, when might be a time to push forward. That's just as important as my own sort of internal instincts. But I think for me, it's like, I've always been a like push, keep going person.
Yeah.
And more recently, I'm finding, as Viola kind of spoke about earlier, like exhaustion, you know, and recognizing that that's not a good place to operate from. And so I now have to start finding balance.
Yeah, to replenish yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, it's a journey, it's a process. I'm still figuring it out.
Thank you for sharing.
I think for me, rest is a priority. Always.
You sleep a lot?
Compromise. Yes, I do. Okay. Yes, I do. It's in my DNA.
That's
My DNA says I need at least 8 hours of sleep and naps in between.
There you go.
Right?
You better rest.
And you know, I think rest is and ease is a priority for me because life has been hard, you know. And like Sheila is saying, you keep pushing. And I think at some point in my life, I did reach my breaking point. And life taught me what matters and what doesn't. And so I never give my energy to the stuff that I say does not matter. And so I focus on, you know, pursuing purpose. So if it's not part of what I believe is my purpose, then I don't give it my energy at all. And so even when I'm resting knowing that, you know, God is filling in the blanks.
Come on.
Yeah.
Woo.
I'll leave it there.
You know, the thing about it is, because it's very difficult for me. Once again, it's that idea of being on top, and everybody wants to be on top. I feel that work is a cultural narrative out there. It's a cultural narrative that, okay, you want generational wealth, you know, you want to leave legacy, all of that. And it's all driven by trauma.
Yep.
All of it is driven because what it is you don't deserve to rest.
Yeah.
That's what it's driven by. You don't deserve to rest. It's all driven by the idea of no self-love. All of it, your life should be ease. All of it should be ease. And ease comes with walking into a room and feeling very comfortable with showing up and being seen. And what I find with Black women, I will say this, is we come into a room and we outstrong each other. And we outstrong each other by showing each other our resume. Yeah, girl, I belong to the Lynx. I belong to Hot Chocolate Club, and I got, my girls and Brownie, whatever. My face is beat, And I remember literally I had an interview with a reporter in the UK for Fences, and she said, I don't understand this movie. I would never have done what Rose did. With raising a child by another woman with my man in the house. I don't even understand that. I said, well, you know what? We do a lot of things in life that are messy that you probably wouldn't understand. That's human beings they're deep. I said, I'm sure you've made mistakes in your life. Now you pause. This could have been an easy interview. And this could have been a moment where we both could have connected. And it didn't have to be a chore, which interviews sometimes are.
Yeah.
But you know what she did?
Thank you, Gina.
She abandoned me by saying, I've never done that.
Right.
I've never made a mistake. And that's what we do as Black women, because it's our way of showing people that we can do, we can be, we can whatever. And you just want to say, listen, when you love yourself and you're comfortable with yourself, then you want to belong to yourself by saying, you know what, I hurt.
Yes.
And that's not okay with me. And you know what, sister, you hurt too? Okay, let's go out and get something to eat.
Yeah.
And that's how connection happens.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't connect to yourself, you're not going to connect to anyone else.
There it is.
Round of applause for that. We got the cast of The Woman King is here with us today. Part of the cast is here with us today. We're going to come back with the Man King. Mike Muse has got a question. If you got a question, you tune in anywhere around the world. 888-742-3345. Shay 45, Sway in the Morning with Heather B and Tracy G.
With Sway, Heather B, and Tracy G on Shade 45.
All right. Big round of applause, man. They are here. Lashonna, Sheila, Tuso, Viola, Gina, they're all here.
All here, baby.
They're all here. I've never felt more protected in my life, Heather B.
Go do something. See what'll happen right now. See if we got your back. Go
I got
do something.
squad. You always have my back. Black woman is God.
That's right.
I often say that.
That's true.
Give her birth to the universe.
Yes.
There will be no king if there was no queen. This is my tutelage. Black woman is God. My mother made sure I said that growing up.
Shout out to Mama Sway.
Believe that, though. This is an amazing movie, The Woman King. We want to encourage each and every one of you to go see it at least twice. Because you're going to need to see it twice to really start picking up on everything. Because you're going to be so entertained by the cinematography, the costuming, the dialect, the cultural aspects of what you're going to be introduced to, that history that you never even seen before. The acting is phenomenal. There's no award that equates to what you're going to witness on that screen. It's amazing to see these beautiful women in a way Hollywood has yet to show them. So I want to encourage you, take your sons too.
Yes.
Men go see this. Men go see this. Look at a society that values a woman's voice and presence the same way they would value yours. Go see what that's like. That's how we progress as a community. That's how we move forward. Go see this movie. Take your sons, take your uncles, your fathers. I wanted to take Mike Muse, but he wasn't available Friday.
Yeah, he was at the Billy Joel concert. I saw it.
Damn, put me on Front Street.
Choices. We got choices in life.
Yeah,
You chose Billy Joel.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
He's good for the longest time.
There you go, Viola. I'm the piano man.
Okay, but you got a question there, Mike?
I do. One, congratulations, ladies, on this fantastic film. Gina, as you know, I've told you on my show, I think you're the most talented director out there. So thank you for all of your work that you've done. Your direction that you give on screen and the final cuts just absolutely amazing. So thank you for your gift. Viola, what I have always loved about you is that you are comfortable leaning into the uncomfortability. And I want to give you your flowers, then ask you a question. You were talking about making sure dark-skinned women are seen and Black women are seeing their humanity. For me, you did that in that show, How to Get Away with Murder. And when you peeled off your wig and then when you took off your makeup in this aggressive way, I think today that is the most powerful scene I've seen on the small screen and the big screen. So you did that in showing black women and dark-skinned women their humanity. And so I salute you for that stirring visual on that scene.
Amen. I agree.
You mentioned that most of the times in Hollywood we see white saviors, white men and white women. But to me, I felt what you left out too as well, then the next order is a light-skinned man or a light-skinned woman. And so what bothers me on social media is a narrative of team light skin and then hashtag team dark skin. I think it's so damaging to our culture. And so I'm curious, what do you think and hope that this movie will moderate in the discourse of team dark skin, team light skin, white light skinned women, light skinned men, meaning being the saviors of Hollywood? What do you think and hope this will moderate?
I always get the hard questions, brother.
You're built for it.
I think that we need to liberate ourselves from the narrative that we've been given since 1612. Colorism really was created, a huge part, the paper bag test was created by us in response to racism. Let's be honest. So the closer you were to white, the better you were. The house Negro, the field Negro, the light skin, the dark skin, the thinner nose, the thinner lips. We can keep going on and on and on and on. It's like the Black consciousness movement in the 60s was all about defining ourselves for ourselves. And that's what needs to happen. Now, that's just very, very sort of abstract. But I always say that if I can go to a movie and sit with Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver, if I can sit with Jane Fonda in Clute, if I can sit with Jill Clayburgh in An Unmarried Woman, if I could sit with Diane Keaton in Looking for Mr. Goodbar, I'm Meryl Streep in Kramer versus Kramer. If I can sit and watch the Diane Carrolls of the world, the Lena Hornes of the world, you know, we could keep going on and on and on and on and on. Then you could sit with me. And the only way to do that, in my opinion, is if, once again, if I, as a black woman, it's what I did with Annalise Keating, if I can bust out of that stereotype and say, this is who I am, take off the makeup, take off all of that, and be who I'm, my wide nose, my big lips, and I can have sex with a man on screen. Put the makeup back on. Get drunk. Be a strong criminal defense attorney and show people that I too am a woman. There are people out there who are attracted to me. I show up with my husband. You have to show up. The more you show up, the more you normalize womanhood and what it means to be dark-skinned, what it means to be a woman, what it means to be all that without someone dictating what that should mean. But you have to liberate yourself as opposed to just walking in there and letting, we call it the oppressor, you know, because it's lack of a sort of a better term. Instead of letting the oppressor define us, you define you. That's the only way to liberate. And that's why Woman King is so powerful, because you're not just going to get an action movie. All of these women, they're humanized. And so you have to sit with us for 2 hours and 6 minutes. You have to be moved by us. You have to see us. That's what we could do as artists. Well, now everybody else, maybe you could be inspired by it. If that's an answer to the question, because that's a big question.
You answered it. Thank you.
That was the, first of all, round of applause. Every time
Clap.
You gotta clap. I didn't realize the movie was 2 hours and 6 minutes.
No, I didn't either.
I felt like I wanted it to keep going. I didn't realize that was the quickest 2 hours and 6 minutes ever. Is it a sequel, Gina? We working on a sequel?
You know she can't tell you that. Why
she
you
can't
trying
say
to get
that?
in trouble?
She can't. You know by who? Who she gonna be? You're your own boss. You define your occupation. We have a lot of listeners from all over the country and in Canada and the West Indies and all these different places that are tuned in. Some are here virtual. I'll be remiss if I didn't give these people an opportunity to ask you guys questions, okay? Mm-hmm. So we're going to go to our virtual panel, and we have Lauren Johnson on the line. Lauren, are you there?
No. Oh, yeah.
She's trying to come on now.
Where's she coming?
Oh,
wow. We're doing with
unmute.
We almost got you,
Hi.
Lauren.
There she is.
Hi, Lauren.
Can we widen that? There you go, Lauren. You made it.
Hi.
We can see you, Lauren.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for having me. And wow, I'm like fangirling, but trying to pull it together because I wrote my question down. Okay. My question is, I think the movie is going to give the audience a beautiful and historic glance at African royalty. With this week's passing of Her Majesty the Queen, what is your viewpoint on monarchies in general? And do you view the institutions of the Dahomeys and the British monarchy the same?
Viola like, yo, that's going back there.
They fighting over the question.
Viola said, finally.
Gina said that's for the Brits. Who wants that? Who wants that? Sheila, you look like you got that.
Okay, yeah. We'll see.
Okay.
I think what I've really enjoyed about the research behind this film and behind the Kingdom of Dahomey is gathering an understanding that all monarchies are different, depending on where they are, what time they were in. You know, I don't know what the situation is like in Dahomey now, but I know that King Gezu in the film was very specific about having a male and female counterpart throughout his king's court, and that was based off the religion and the belief that there were two gods, twin gods, right, male and female. So he really believed in that, but his brother before him didn't. And that just shows the variation and diversity that can come from different monarchies, whether in the same place or all around the world. And I think it's important to look at what those monarchies are doing for that place. I think the story of Dahomey and its kind of, you know, reverence towards women as well as men in society shows in the advancements that it brought to that society. Having the Agojie is a perfect example of that. Having this army of women who also fight alongside the male Dahomey warriors, you know, and you see that particularly later on in the film, you see them in tandem, you see them working together. I think that's what I would say is something that can be garnered from monarchy, from power, recognizing how the decisions that it makes can trickle down to its, you know, citizens, and better enrich their lives. So that's what I would say.
Beautiful.
That was great. All right.
I was into that. Come on, Sheila.
Lauren, thank you for your question. You're a citizen, Lauren.
In the morning.
Okay. Next up, I want to go to Keisha Johnson. Keisha Johnson, and let us know where you're calling from if you can. Keisha, are you there? We're trying to pull you up now. Here she comes.
There she is.
Keisha.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey,
Keisha.
I'm from Sicklerville, New Jersey, working in Philadelphia Children's Hospital.
Okay.
So I'm really super excited and honored to be invited to a panel full of beautiful, intelligent, extraordinary Black women who inspire all brown women and little girls like myself. All of you amaze me, and I thank you. But my question is for the Queen, Miss Viola Davis. I recall you having some regrets when you appeared in The Help. I can honestly say myself, I felt your pain and shared those emotions that you spoke of. After watching the trailer of The Woman King, I'm not concerned with any regrets. I saw beautiful, strong, confident, powerful women fighting for their people, supporting our Black men. I saw myself in this movie. The glow of your skin, the many shades of melanin, the beautiful kinks in your hair. I felt proud. So I like to ask, if you had the opportunity, Miss Queen Viola Davis, to erase all you've done in your career prior to this movie, will Woman King have been your first choice to be a part of because of its deep roots?
Keisha, it's a great question. First of all, I wouldn't have been given a Woman King at all. Woman King has only come because of How to Get Away with Murder, because of Fences, because of The Help, because of Doubt, because of my filmography, because that's simply how the business works. You don't get your name above the title without having a cue, which is having some clout in the business. It's very hard for an unknown to just walk into a studio and say, hey, you know, and studios aren't producing movies like Woman King. I always say I have done the best I could with what I've been given.
Yes.
I don't think that people understand how hard it is just to get a job as an actor.
Yes.
And your journey in getting the Woman King is like a battle. It really is, especially when you're dark. Once again, I always say this. There's a very great white actress out there who someone said, she makes the greatest choices. She really does. And I always say, she has the greatest choices. We don't. Okay?
Wow.
We have to create the choices, and you have no idea. One choice that you make can take 7 years, 12 years from inception to you seeing it on the screen. We have a 95% unemployment rate in this business. 1% makes $50,000 a year or more, and 0.04% are famous. That's our profession. I know people read social media, but social media, the only stories that trickle in there are people who are on top because they have the mic. This does not even represent your average actor. Your average actor would be happy to get a Geico commercial, okay? Because they can get Plan One health insurance. The Woman King is my gift after a 33-year career. At 56 years old, literally, I was the OG in this. After 56 years, this has been the culmination. That's why I say it's my magnum opus. And by the way, I'm going to say this, and it's probably a little bit of shameless plug. It's a little bit of my ego. I don't care. But me and my husband's production company produced this film.
There you go.
Very
Come on.
important to say that.
Yes.
Absolutely. You and your husband. That's a round of applause and a standing ovation.
Yes.
Keisha, thank you for your question. You a citizen?
Sway in the morning. She ain't need no husband and boyfriend like me, Sway. See? She did it with her husband. Why you ain't let me go with my husband?
That's my good friend. This is a powerful movie. This is on my top movie list right now.
Absolutely.
Of all time. I'm going to give it all
Absolutely.
time. And I like a lot of great movies. I'm a movie buff. Gina, I want to say congratulations to you, the way you approach this film.
Yes.
And there's other topics that'll be touched on in this film in terms of slavery and who sold them and why, and, you know, interesting topics that we don't talk about, we don't touch. I'm going to say that for folks to watch the film. There's also a current topic about adoption that I found to be really interesting, you know, and all of these different things are being touched on in this film. We don't have enough time to get into those two, but I want to thank you all for this. Man, this was awesome. This was awesome. Give it up for Sheila.
Tears.
Come on, give it up for Sheila. All right, give it up. Let me see. Let's give it up to Tuso and Bell. Lashonna Lynch. Lashonna Lynch. What up, Lashonna? Gina Prince Bythewood. Thank you.
What did dance, Gina?
And Viola Davis, thank you for your presence. each single time. To the entire cast, you did an awesome job. Everybody that worked on this film, congratulations. And thank you for gifting us with your talents. I can't wait to watch it again. I'll be watching it again. So, like I said, this is a family outing. Don't go by yourself. Bring the whole family.
Thank everybody.
Okay? Thank you to my team here, Mike, Tracy, Heather B, and everybody in production that helped produce this event. DB, Tone, Chris, Spence, BJ, Ty, Drew. I'm not sure of your name, but thank you for being in the studio, and you too. All right, give it up one more time for the Woman King. Make sure you see the movie Sway the Morning Shade 45. Coming up next, we got DB in the mix.